Hello, welcome to Healthy Geeky Amber. I'm Amber. So, start off with my stats. Those are my stats from having done vertical sleeve gastrectomy weight loss surgery on February. Well, you already saw the dates and stuff. So I'm still losing. I'm still nervous. Food is still a struggle. So there's that. But it is, it is easier. I've been talking about like how hard it is and the struggle with food. It is a lot easier, and I'm eating way better, but stuff is what it is. Y'all. So you will see from the title of this video, I fired my dietitian. And by fired, I mean I'm just not going back to her, which is different from firing. I didn't like make a declaration and get all dramatic, but I'm not going back. Bye, girl. Bye. I'm going to be distracted a little bit because I have some receipts. So let me explain what happens. So when you have weight loss surgery, you see a psychologist, a doctor, a surgeon, and you see a surgeon, a dietitian, and a psychologist. And at my center, there's a medical doctor that you see aside from your surgeon, who's a dedicated doctor, because you are never going to talk to your surgeon again. Once a year, you'll have a 15-minute visit in the office, but that's going to be quick. If you have questions, you're going to talk to one of his nurses or something like that. My nurse is amazing. Her and my medical doctor are why I haven't left the practice. It is so smart of me that I did not say which center I went to, because I have so much I want to say that is not positive. And today we're going to start with the dietitian. So here's what happened. From jump, it was very... it was an okay relationship to start, where, she would tell me about protein and, all the stuff that I needed to know, and answered questions in office. We also had like some groups, and I got to ask questions there. I'm a question asker. You know how like if you go to meetings and stuff, people are like, are there any questions? Amber always has questions. And you know what? Other people have questions too. I ask for them. I take the bullet for everyone. You're welcome. So anyway, I have a lot of questions, and I would ask them, because what do they say? If you have any question, ask them. So I spoke with my dietitian via email quite a few times, I guess you would say, according to her. She didn't put it just like that, but... So apparently she got fed up. Since the virus has, made everything go virtual, I've had an appointment with her, and I had a bunch of questions. I had a virtual group, and I had some questions. And this is a hard process. This isn't Weight Watchers. You know what I mean? Like, some of this stuff, it's like, it's detrimental to your health. The wrong choices are more immediately detrimental to your health. So you really have to stay on top of things. You have to take your vitamins. You can't stretch out your stomach. You could throw up. There's all sorts of things that can happen as a result. Like, apparently the surgery itself is safer than an appendectomy, but it's the after stuff where there's a lot to manage. And I have a lot of questions. Like I said, I don't know how many times I said I will admit that I've had a lot of questions. They have been on point things. I've sent, like ingredients or like names of products with their ingredient list, sometimes screenshots about things, and I'm like, is this okay? Because there are things where I'm like, hey, is this all right? And they're like, absolutely not. And it's like, okay, fair enough. I'm glad that I asked. Sorry, this is going to be a very sassy video. So I was really sad during our meetings because she was into intuitive eating, which I think is baloney. Okay, I take a medication that makes me want to eat, and I just have food issues in general, and you're going to tell me to like follow my bliss or whatever nonsense they want me to do. I'm like, that's not going to work for me. And it wasn't a fit, but I still know that she has information about food and, movement and stuff that I thought could help me. So apparently the straw that broke the camel's back. So quick thing. I have to pay $86 to speak with her, to have an appointment with her, rather. And my first appointment, I think, was like $115. And then anytime I want to meet with her, I have to pay $86. Now, without going into my finances, for me, at unemployed at this point in my life, that's a lot of money for me. Fair enough, but if you ever have questions, ask. Well, I have one of those scales, or I had one of those scales that give you, actually, I talked about it on the show, shows you your MRI, how much water's in your body, and all that stuff. And I asked for a resource. You know what? Let me just read it. Okay, took me a while to find it. So here's the message that I sent. I got, and there's a screenshot of the scale results. I got a scale that measures a bunch of stuff. I attached in case you are curious. I don't know what most of the stuff means. Do you have a resource, site, book, video about learning more about these numbers? So everybody, I believe it is made clear that I'm looking for a resource and not asking for her to break down a dozen things that the scale measures. But I got this reply because apparently, like I said, straw broke the camel's back. So here's the most passive-aggressive note that I've ever gotten in my life, and I'm Caribbean, especially half Jamaican. The shade. So for her to do this even took me aback. Hi, Amber. Hope you are well. I'm just getting back from being out of the office. Apologies for the delay. That's another thing. There have been at least one time where two times where there was a problem because I contact her through the patient site. So if you have a doctor at a hospital, there's probably, in this day and age, you probably have a secure way to talk to your doctor through a website, through an internal messaging program. So there have been at least 2 times where she didn't get the message. However, again, receipts, I have in my sent box that I have sent her these emails twice. So I had the email of another dietitian and I wrote to her. And then she eventually got back. So that's why she's mentioning that she's out of the office. Kind of like, calm down, girl. I was out of the office this time. I did get the email. So anyhow, but whatever. She didn't say that, but... So anyhow, for the measurements, I believe there are reference ranges next to them. Of course, there are reference numbers next to them. I can see because I was the one who sent the screenshot. I don't have specific resource in mind, but your scale should have a resource to explain each component. Generally, it measures fat percentage, how much muscle you have, and water. Okay, so again, this surgery, your aftercare is not very intuitive because you're supposed to eat, for example, you're supposed to eat more healthfully. Cool, but you're supposed to eat a lot of protein, like a lot of protein, more than the average person. And they're like, oh, you want to have vegetables, eat your protein first and then you can have other stuff. You need more vegetables than you can physically have in a day and also get your protein. So it is counterintuitive to be like, most conventional wisdom would say, eat your fruits and vegetables, especially your leafy greens, da 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 da. So when it comes to, numbers and stuff, the amount of calories that you're supposed to take, there is a number of calories that you're supposed to take that the average person with a normal stomach can take where they will lose weight. They want me to have almost half of that. So again, this stuff is counterintuitive. So just because the scale says something's okay, doesn't mean it's okay. So I wanted to learn more. Book, site, video, not give me a long old email about whatever. Okay, so, all right, girl, you don't want to answer, you don't want to, whatever. But again, I sent you a screenshot. I know what it measures. I was asking for help with explanations. Anyhow, Green juice looks safe. I asked her about a green juice powder. And fine to add to your day, nutritionally speaking. Looks like it would provide vitamins and minerals. I do not believe it would interact with medications, but I would recommend double checking with your physician just in case. Okay, that is fair. That totally makes sense. But for the record, if you ask anything even tangentially related to food of the psychologist or the medical doctor, the nurse, ask your doctor. Even with the doctor, ask your dietitian. Here's what the dietitian usually says. They always refer back. So fair enough, it has to do with medication. I totally understand that. But for the record, me asking is not me stepping on somebody's toes. It's not me being out of bounds. This is something totally normal. If even your surgeon refers you to them, then obviously they are the go-to person for stuff like this. But again, it has to do with medication, so I totally understand. But okay, here's where it gets good, people. Here's why, girl, bye. Due to large volumes of messaging and limited time to answer gateway questions, that's their site, would you kindly set up a virtual visit, $86, and bring questions like these to future individual visits? If you are interested, we could get you set up with the e-nutrition program, $325. That is a 16-week program in which we would touch base once per week via email. So that's what it's coming down to, is that I'm asking for the help that over the course of 16 weeks I could get for $325. Now, obviously, she's not pocketing this. She's not like getting a commission. The more people she gets into the program, she just wants me off her back. She wants me off of her back. And this is a way to do that, to weed out having to sort through my complicated questions, apparently. So I'm good. I'm just going to rely on Google. Hope you're happy. You know what I mean? And it's ridiculous because, like I said, the doctors only know so much or can only give you so much information because there are dietitians that they're supposed to refer you to. So I hope the decisions I've made are okay. We'll see. But that's the kind of nonsense I'm talking about. And I know, like, technically $325 for 16 weeks. I get how, like, invest in your health. But it's like, for asking questions? Nah, dog. That's not how that should be. Like, if it was meeting up for a half hour for 16 weeks, okay, fair enough. But to ask you questions that you've already said is well within the realm of being okay, nah, son, I'm good. So that is why I have fired my dietitian. I am potentially putting myself at risk because, like I said, I'm depending on Google. But what you gonna do? I do not recommend, oh, now I have to put the disclaimer because somebody's going to like follow in my footsteps. And again, I can't have your coffin on my conscience, people. Don't do what I did, okay? It is not wise. It is against direct medical, advice. Even if haven't had surgery, get some medical help. This stuff is complicated. It's easy, but it's not. So get the numbers that are appropriate for you, and just get some help. Don't people don't come back to me crying, okay? When your feet, your teeth fall out because you didn't get enough of something or whatever because Amber said so. Anyhow, sorry this has been so sassy and so annoying, or maybe you love this. Maybe you like me all sassy. I don't know. You like me getting worked up. Who knows? But that, as I say, is that. Thank you so much for being a part of this. When I see the numbers, like the numbers that I get are painfully low for YouTube, and I get that. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And if you've made it this far, I'm ultra grateful because I know that my videos are long. They're longer than, interesting people. I get it. But I appreciate that you've made it this far. It really helps my process to know that there are people who are witnessing this journey with me. So I appreciate that. And so just thank you. Be healthy and rock on, cool kids.